introduce Jeff.
Alright. I'm starting on me. Welcome to an all-new episode of Taboo Topics. I'm your host, Jeff Lopez, and I'm joined today by special guest Jamal Bostick and my two co-hosts, lovely co-hosts, Donna Martinez and Victoria Cardenas. So, Victoria, go ahead and start us off for this week's topic.
This week's topic is friend zone. Do you guys think it exists? Exists? That's not even a word. Does it exist? The signs of it, and if any of us have ever actually been friend zoned. So, I mean, apparently
It exists.
Or if you friend zoned someone. So, I mean, we'll start with special guest.
Well, I mean, sorry, to start off.
Welcome, Jamal.
How long has the term friend zone been around? Because I haven't really heard it blown up until recently.
I don't know.
I feel past couple years. Before that, I don't think I've ever heard friend zone.
Really? I've heard it since high school.
Mm-hmm.
I've known about friend zone since everyone's like, oh yeah, she totally friend zoned that guy. Like he totally wants her, but she doesn't want him, and she just says that we can just be friends, right?
It's like
Do that all
when
the time.
it comes to, hey, you're in the friend zone. Stop trying.
Stop trying.
Stop trying.
You ain't getting nowhere.
Well, I've been in the friend zone a couple times, but one of them was our playground in preschool. It's called the friend zone. Other than that, I've been friend zoned a couple times. She's actually sitting across the table from me right now. Other than that, I haven't really experienced friend zone like that. In case you count my last ex-girlfriend. How you doing? I mean, a couple of my friends have gotten friend zone. It's been pretty bad. I guess it takes a really bad emotional toll on people, especially, if the person getting friend zone has a lot of feelings for the person that's friend zoning them. I personally think it's pretty shitty. But people do what they do for their own satisfaction. Hurting people's feelings, I guess.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say it's hurting people's
Coming
feelings.
from
But
Donna over here.
Why?
okay.
Tell
Well,
us why.
first I'll give definition. Well, we Googled it, and this is what Google came up with: a situation in which friendship exists between two people, one of whom has unreciprocated romantic or sexual interest in the other. For me, I personally friend zone. Kind of needs to happen in a sense because there are people that you just want as friends, and you know that they want more, but then you're like, I don't want any more, and they don't always tend to seem to understand that. I've had a lot of problems with that, where it's like you've said we're just friends, and we've established that we're both just friends, and then in the end they're still wanting more. And you're just like, well, what happened to just being friends?
Well, see, this can go into certain situations because then you have, or I'm not talking about you specifically, but you'll have the girl or the guy who will say, oh yeah, we're just friends. Let's stick to we'll be platonic. Then when they hang out, certain people, when the two people in question hang out, they're being friends. The other person will do things that a friend wouldn't do. They'll be touchy or very friendly. And then, but they'll still want to say, oh, no, we're still friends. If you want more, you're giving those signs, but you just don't want to go further. So from right there, are you just being, a bitch?
You're just being a bitch.
You're just being a bitch.
Basically, and I will admit, I've been a culprit of that. Not even joking. And I feel bad, but it's, when you're doing that, then you know that you're fucking with people, in a sense. I'm sorry for my language, but you really are. You're messing with their heads, and you know that you can do that because they like you, and you're just like, well, I really don't like them, but I'll still mess with them and still make them do whatever I want, and it sucks.
Donna still makes me.
Yeah, so it sucks for the other person.
Yeah, it sucks for the other person, and I'll admit that, and I've been at the end of that too, which really sucked.
So is it really being friend zoned, or is it just a person being?
It's more like they're friends, but they're more friends with benefits than friend zoned. Because they act.
No, I think friends with benefits is clearly
Well,
completely different from being
no,
friend
because
zone. Friends with benefits, you guys are actually like hooking up, and you both know what's going on. Being friend
True.
zone is one person isn't like giving it up.
Wait, I lost track of this. Sorry, okay. I completely lost track.
Giving it up.
I don't necessarily think it comes to. Well, I think you do it, or you did what you did. Not saying you do what you did. You do what you did more because you knew you can get away with it with that person, and you liked the attention. So she was like, "Hey, if I can get this much attention, because they're not gonna say anything wrong with it, even though I already friend zoned them, I'm gonna do it." And she did it.
then I did it.
I don't think it really has anything to do with friends with benefits. I
No.
mean, it's just crossing that boundary of I can get what I want, but I really don't want it. But I'm
still gonna do it.
So I'm gonna cross that line of friend zone. Be like, yo.
See, with me, it's like I didn't cross the line that often, really. I mean, there was only like maybe one or two people that I actually crossed the line with. But most of the times, shut up, Jamal, it wasn't you. Most of the times, it was like I knew that they liked me, but I didn't do anything about it. I just was like, okay, you like me. And I usually just try to keep it friendly-wise. Like, if we hung out, I would try not to do, like, any night hanging out. I'll try to do more day, because usually at night hanging out, people tend to think more like, oh, it's a date. Like, I never said, okay, it's a date. I always say, well, I'm hanging out with people. I'm hanging out with this person. Because as soon as you say anything past that, people are always like, well, me and her, like, we're hanging out tonight. No, it's not like that. Not even close.
I feel like you said, like, at night, you try to avoid that just because I actually had a conversation with my friend that things most likely happen at night just because you feel vulnerable. You feel vulnerable, and it's like, it's nighttime. No one's going to know. It's where all the parties happen.
All the parties happen, all the late night conversations.
Yeah, that's usually when it happens. I mean, how many times do you hear, oh, we had a great conversation at noon?
It happens.
You hear midnight or 1 o'clock. You're like,
we were up till like 3 o'clock in the morning just having great conversation.
yeah, it's like
No one says that either, though.
some people.
A lot of people say that more than,
Some people, we had a heart-to-heart last night.
yeah.
It's never, we had a heart-to-heart yesterday afternoon.
Shit.
Yesterday
Starbucks,
morning.
A couple coffees,
Some white girl coffee.
Yeah,
Some white girl coffee.
Get a cupcake. That's how a good conversation start.
I just feel like I get what you're saying. I understand. I mean, friend zone is just, it's always going to be tricky. It's always going to be like,
There's always going to be someone wanting more.
yeah.
Unless the other person makes sure that the other person understands, hey, I'm not going to take this anywhere.
But they're still going to want more. This is what I've come to understand, and what many people have told me, is when there's a friendship between two people, there's always one person that wants it more than just friends.
True.
And that's why the whole thing of friend zoning would come from, is because you have a friendship with someone, and then one other people want more, and the other one doesn't. So then it's like, oh, well, we're just friends, and you keep repeating it and repeating it and repeating it until they finally get it, or they don't.
Yeah, because then it comes to the question of how many times do I have to keep telling you until you really realize I don't like you like that. And then, I mean, after that, it's up what you want to do with that information. Have you ever friend-zoned someone? You look like you want to say something. You look like you're just like...
No, I'm taking all this in.
Just taking it in.
I'm the girls had a good opinion, because you guys are talking like you guys have gone through this like so many times before, and you guys are making it sound like girls are the only ones that go through that.
No.
Because I have friend-zoned someone and have been friend-zoned. I've been on both sides. You probably have never been friend-zoned.
I actually have been friend zoned. It was very strange the first time it happened, but I'm glad it did happen, because then I know the certain boundaries and I know the certain ways. Especially when knowing that I've friend zoned so many people, I know exactly when people say certain things that they're trying to friend zone me.
How do you know when you are friend zoned? Like, how do you say, oh yeah, I was
like
friend zoned?
signs?
Yeah. Like, So say like you're talking to someone, right?
Mhm.
And you think like everything's going right. They don't really say anything. Oh, let's just stay friends, or we're just friends. They don't really say that, but to them, you've already been friend zoned. How do you know that?
What they do is, well, what I've done is usually, like, when you notice somebody's starting to think more, you talk to them less. When you see them, you don't like go, oh, hey, like, what's up? You're just like, oh, hey, how you doing? Just like try not to keep too much interaction or touching, because then that leads to intimacy feelings.
Don't touch someone like this. They might think it's more.
They might think it's more. No, it's just like, for that, I was like, and I kept just saying, oh, what's up, friend? Like, how's it going, buddy? Like, using friend words.
No, that is the worst way to do it. What's up, buddy?
Hey, buddy.
Like they going for the kiss? Oh, whoa, buddy.
Hey, no.
Buddy, hey, stop.
Horrible.
Stop it.
Yeah, it's sad, but sometimes that's what you have to do.
You have to really pay attention to like the lingo. That's some lingo.
The
What
lingo.
language? That's
Lingo.
someone uses.
Lingo.
I don't know where that word came from. But yeah, you have to listen to the language they use or the way they text you. That's a huge thing too. Like if you're sending them
A lot
like
of emoticons.
Yeah, if you send them smiley faces after everything, they're gonna start thinking other things.
yeah, if you're like
So you
winky face, even though you're just playing around and you send a winky face, they're like, oh, she wants the D or yo, he wants the B.
he wants to be.
Or that person wants what I have.
Yeah, whatever they have.
Yeah, and they're gonna be like, yo.
We don't discriminate here.
Yeah. And
Okay, enough of us talking. You guys,
yeah, we
come on.
We'll add more later. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, what do you want me to say? Like, I don't know if I've really been friend zoned because, I mean, I've talked to you guys before about this. I don't really try to make more out of it,
Yeah.
So am I the one who's been friend zoning?
I mean, have you ever had someone?
Have you ever had just a regular friendship and someone tries to make more of it?
I don't think so.
Then you're not really friend zoning.
I don't-
Because
I'm just breaking off contact right
yeah.
away.
So it's not like you're trying to. It's not like you're trying to be friends and then you're making it something more. You're
There-
just you don't even be friends in the first place.
It's kind of just like. Oh.
Have you been friend zoned though?
Not really. See, that's what I'm trying to say. It's like I've never really gone after someone. Because after I've done it with the person, I break off contact. Like, they try to reply. I'm like, no, that's it.
You try not to keep a friendship with that person.
Yeah.
Basically, what you're saying. So you basically.
So am I friend zoning? Have I been friend zoned? Or am I just emotionally unavailable?
That's a good question.
I think it'd be more emotionally unavailable. You just kind of just use and abuse people.
Use and abuse.
I mean, it's not.
Ouch.
It's ouch to say because I've done that too, but it's the truth. Like, you don't try to make it anything more than it is.
Mm-hmm.
Which sometimes is good. It's actually. Sorry, I got distracted. It's actually really good when you try to, if you know that you're friend zoning someone, or when you know they have feelings for you, and you kind of were just like, I'm done. Because it saves, I think, them the pain or heartache of falling for you harder, I guess you can say. That's so cheesy, but I mean, that's what it is, right? That's what happens when.
What about you,
don't-
Jamal?
Well, since I'm such a nice guy and I care about women's feelings, I've never friend zoned anyone. I mean,
Not even if they tried to go after you?
see,
Or do you just
I try to avoid people, or break it to them nice, like yo,
try to avoid?
Yeah.
Not to come into contact with
I
people.
I can't do this right now. I'm not ready. So you just gotta be like
But what if you don't want that friendship to end?
See, I have too many friends, and
It's true. It's really
see,
true.
Sometimes
Just today, when we went to go get Juice It Up, we were exiting. Some random person walked by and said, "Oh, hey, what's up, Jamal?"
Jamal is widely
Jamal's
known in Orange
famous.
County.
I have a mostly female following. I'm guilty.
Do you want his Instagram name over?
I'm guilty. We'll put my Instagram up later. But I mean, nah, not really. I mean, I try to focus on other things like school or Football. Yeah. I mean, I haven't really focused on, getting to know a girl or, I mean, if girls throw themselves at me, hey, if it happens, it happens. But if I don't want it to happen, I have self-control sometimes. And I could just be like, no, that's ratchet. You should,
Ratchet.
That's ratchet.
Ratchet.
Oh my god.
I
He
just,
would be the one.
I just couldn't bring myself to, friend zone a girl. Because then I'd feel bad later on. And they'd probably get me back in like 5 years.
So then you would rather just break off a friendship with them?
Probably, yeah. Especially if they're unattractive.
Ouch. It's like.
What if they are attractive?
Yeah.
Well, if they're attractive, I'd try to be their friend still. But, I'd be like, yo, I got brothers or friends.
So you're looking for that connection.
Yeah,
And if any of you think that's shallow, you guys need to take a step back because you all know attraction. Or if you're
Fuck all you
attracted.
shallow
You
people.
never say it's like, oh, I only look for personality. Bullshit. They might have an awesome personality, but if they're not that attractive. You always do a double take.
It's true.
And it's never like, oh, awesome personality. I'm gonna go straight for it. No, you do take looks in for some kind of accountability.
It's like, yeah, exactly.
You always
like,
double take for a bit. You don't just automatically go straight into it.
Yeah, so any of you judges out there, you take a
Don't
step
judge.
back. Yeah, take back up a little bit.
Because let's be real here. We're not all going to marry 10s and 9s.
Exactly.
We're going to get the occasional 5 or 6.
Exactly.
The occasional.
Or lower.
For all you gutter butts out there.
Hey! You call me one?
No. I mean,
Watch yourself.
even though, Donna kind of did me wrong before. But, it happens.
Just leave.
I mean, yeah. Like.
But I mean, in general, like when it's not happening to you, friend zoning can be kind of funny.
Yeah, sadly. Like, if
Oh,
you're
it's
not
hilarious.
in that situation and it's like your friend or someone else, don't judge me for saying something bad that's happened to your friend is funny because y'all think it.
Y'all laugh at them.
Because your friends come to you and they're like, guess what happened? He didn't send me a winky face back. Or she didn't text me back fast enough. Like,
Well, you know what? That's just that kind of like sidetrack. Kind of a pet peeve of mine. When you're texting someone and they take hours to text back.
That's when you
That's
know they
annoying.
don't care.
Yeah.
either that or unless they respond to you with a really plausible reason. Like,
No, fuck that.
Or you're
There's
in
no
like in an
reason.
actual conversation with them,
oh, okay,
and they don't
yeah.
reply like until like hours later, and then it's like,
Exactly.
conversation.
If you have a conversation with them and they stop responding, they're either going to give you a reason why they stop responding it,
Or
or
they
they
just
they don't
reply.
care.
they just
Or they
reply
make up
like,
like a
yeah.
bullshit reason. Like, oh, I was at work. You haven't had a job in 2 years.
All of a sudden you get a job.
All of a sudden you
job.
have
Okay.
work.
Okay.
Or like 2 years later, I saw a meme about it. Oh, speaking about memes, I got a couple of them. You guys have read Harry Potter, right?
Yes.
I found this one funny because it's Snape, and it says, "Stop your whining. You know nothing about being friend zoned."
Or the best is Ron Weasley breaks out of the friend zone.
Yeah, that was
We don't have that one though.
No, but
kinda
Ron-
looked at the wrong movie.
Ron Weasley totally took a step back and was like, I'm going for it. I got it.
Got it.
I got a couple other ones.
I
You can go
laugh.
ahead and play
Pop
those
up.
whenever
I
you
laugh
want.
at people who get friend zoned. I have a lot of friends that are being friend zoned at the current moment. And like they find the need to put it out in public that they're being friend zoned. So they're just asking to have people laugh at them. Literally.
Wait, what do you do when someone has been friend zoned and they ask for your advice? Like, what do you say?
You say if that person already friend zoned you, there's nothing you could do.
Well, I mean, do you try to encourage your friends? Say, oh, you really love this girl or you really love this guy. Go for it. They might be the one you might be able to like sway their mind. Or do you kind of say,
Yes,
it's like,
sir.
oh, you know what? Don't even go for it.
Yes and no. Yes, if it's like they taught like the person friend zones them, but then by the way they interact, it seems like there's a little more chemistry.
But see, that can also lead to like, is she just being a bitch or?
Yes and true.
I
But
mean-
most of the time,
True.
but most of the times it's like I try not to encourage people. If somebody has made it clear that they just want to be friends, why keep trying?
Well, I
Like-
mean, like you said, if you see that like little spark between them, but like the other person doesn't want to take it, do you encourage them to go for it, or?
No, I'm the person that goes and asks the other person. So what's going on?
What's up?
Well, that's
What's
you.
up? That's what I do. It's like, well, what's up? What's going on here? I mean, but most of the times I try not to encourage it. I'm just like,
Yeah.
you're friend zoned. Like, there's no way. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it just depends on who they're talking to and the way they talk to the person. That sounds really weird. But, like, if you're having intimate conversations with that person and they haven't completely said, we're just friends, or, like, said buddy or things like that, and they'll send you, like, winky faces back and stuff like that, it just depends, because it depends how deep your conversations are with that person, how you guys are interacting. All those factors you have to take into consideration. Which is why I think when you go to a friend, you usually show them the text messages, or it usually takes like an hour to explain the whole situation because you have to go through each detail and finally be like,
That was me and
Yo.
her last night.
be like, yes, you were friend zone. No, they haven't said you're just a friend yet. Like, it just depends. It all depends on the person. And I mean, if the person already friend zoned them and your friend's still trying, you gotta just be like, yo, you're reaching stalker. Like, back up a little
Back
bit.
up.
Like, go find someone else.
Go back to outside the window, you know.
You gotta just go.
Oh my god. Now I remember when I was wearing my black shirt. So I have this black shirt, and we bought it at... No.
Oh,
It
you
deals
have
with
a
this.
black shirt?
No, it has...
Tell us about this black shirt.
Listen,
Yes,
I'm trying to explain to you. I have this black shirt that I bought as a joke, and it says... It has, Batgirl, Wonder Woman, and Supergirl. And then across it says Super Best Friends. And I bought it, like, during the time I had a friend that was, like, really trying, and I had already told him time after time, we're just friends, nothing more. You're like my best friend, you're like my brother. And he still tried. And he still tried. And he still tried. So I bought the shirt, and I wore it, and everyone that knew what was going on laughed. Like, they were just laughing. Like, they thought it was the funniest thing. And he still didn't get it.
I still don't get it.
Well, why would you
What?
think?
Super best friends.
What?
Super best friends.
Okay, but
Because
why-
he'd always say that we're best friends. And then
Why
I'm like,
would you think though? Say, oh, because I bought this shirt and it said this.
Oh.
Oh, he's gonna get
I
it.
got it.
because it's comic books, and he was a comic book
Okay,
nerd.
but what if he just wasn't paying, like, you know, his first thought's not like, oh, I'm gonna look at her shirt, whatever her shirt says is like.
I'm
gonna get
sorry,
me a
if you're, well, in this situation, since he's a straight guy, and he has feelings for her, one of the first places he's gonna look is this general
Okay,
area.
but just because it says super best friends, he's not gonna get, oh, she's trying to give me a message.
Super best friends. Okay,
Yeah.
it's just a shirt.
He probably did it, but everyone else did.
Granted, it was probably in bold that day. She has big boobs.
Oh my god, Jamal.
It was in like 3D and shit. I don't know how I didn't see it, but I wouldn't get it. Batgirl, fucking who else? Supergirl.
Okay, enough of that. Anyways.
I got it.
Alright, we gotta close it up pretty
Already?
soon. So, last minute stories, anything we need to get out about friend zones,
Sorry for all the people that have been friend zones.
questions, any questions?
Yeah, stop apologizing. They don't care anymore.
I feel bad for all the
You
people.
broke their hearts.
No.
over.
I'm not apologizing for the people that have some friend zoned. I'm just saying for all those that have been friend zoned. I know how we all know how much.
Except for Jeff.
Except
he's
for Jeff.
unsure.
I'm
But
just
Jamal has-
emotionally
We just
available.
we know how it is, and it sucks. But when it comes down to it, if they friend zone you, and you keep trying, just realize it's gonna look bad on you. Because nobody wants anyone that's just gonna keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. Because after, like, at first, you know, girls are like, okay, like, he's trying to pursue me, like, it's cute. But then after time, it's like, okay, you're just annoying.
It's gonna get to the point where they're gonna drop you as a friend completely, and that's that's it. It comes down to the decision if you would rather have that person in your life as a friend only, knowing you have the feelings, or would you rather have them not at all in your life? Whatever would be easier on you. I think that's what it comes down to, and that's a huge decision a lot of people have to make when they're friend zoned. Because I mean, once you're in the friend zone, you're kind of stuck there, aren't you? I mean, there's nothing you can really do about it, unless the person, like we talked about, changes their mind. But that's
Very rare.
Yeah.
It's in the fucking Lifetime movie. It's not gonna happen.
This ain't no Katherine Heigl movie.
Exactly. You can't just be like, hey, like you're not gonna get that moment where all of a sudden that person does something and then you're like, I'm all of a sudden in love with them, guys. Like, and they don't want me. It's not gonna be like that. Like you have to.
Went to another city and fucking chase them.
Yeah,
This is
like
real life. That
Yeah,
never happens.
that's too much money.
it's really.
I ain't about that life.
College students are about that life. It's really. It's really rare if that
It's like,
ever actually
oh, she
happens.
moved to New York? Well, like, is she stuck in New York? You know?
She's like,
Let us-
I hope she comes back in about 10 years.
All right, so final verdicts.
um,
Do you guys think friendzoning is real?
Yes.
yes.
Or is it just like a situation that's fucked up and someone put the title on there?
No, it's real.
A part of me feels like it's not real, but another part of me does feel like it's real just because of
It's real.
events that have happened.
If you
and-
can do it and someone can do it to you, then it's basically real. I mean, we've already said that we both have done it and we've had it done to us. I mean, like, for him, he probably doesn't believe it.
I just think
Yeah.
if you're doing something, you're probably just fucking with the person.
Exactly. So, I mean, for
Um,
us
Which
that
is
have done
fun.
it and then have it done to us, we believe in it. We're like, okay, there is such thing as a friend zone. But, I mean, for other people that are just like, oh, well, you know, like, I just, you know, break off connection, don't even believe it. It's
Or
like,
you're
no.
just toying with them. I don't really,
believe in the
friend
Friend
zone.
zone. like yeah. See, like that's where I'm stuck. Like I do feel like you're just toying with them, but another thing is like, does it really exist? Like it's very back and forth. And for those of you, those judgers who are probably still judging.
Judging. You're probably
if you're
judging me.
judging any of us for liking the attention we get from someone who has feelings for us,
Turn
don't.
this shit off.
Because
You do it too.
you know that someone was giving you attention, was at your beck and call, was texting you, sending you great messages like you're so beautiful, blah blah, or I want you. You know you would enjoy that attention, so don't be judging.
You're
Don't be
probably
judging.
eating popcorn and ice cream at the same time right now.
Exactly.
Is it Ben and Jerry and Scotch?
Probably just became even more of an alcoholic right now after this show.
I mean, do you believe in it? You believe in the friend zone?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, if you're one of those people who keeps getting friend zoned like all the time, maybe it's a sign you should switch teams.
You can't just switch over.
Hey,
Either that,
maybe-
or you should probably be more little aggressive.
Maybe the whole straight thing just doesn't work for some people. Maybe they should just go to the other team.
You can't just be like,
Or try it out.
Wake up shooting for the other team today,
Hey,
Jamal. That's not how it
Maybe you
works.
should just try it out and be like, man, I like this better. They don't friend zone me. Bam. Next team.
And then you'll be in there, and then all of a sudden they start friend zoning, and you're like, back at square one.
Maybe I just
Back
need-
at square one.
Maybe I just need a moment to myself, and I gotta move out of town by myself.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like, if you're not getting any attention from where you live or whatever, branch out, because that's another thing where you live in your environment. It's like maybe the people that
friend
don't
zoned.
find you attractive, but maybe people.
Or maybe there's just something wrong with you. Like, are you being too nice? Are you being
Oh.
I was like, what do you mean there's something wrong with
too
you?
ugly.
I know we said we
No,
don't
that's
discriminate.
not what I meant.
Jeez.
I meant like maybe you're being too nice. Maybe you're not
These are
know.
all jokes, by the way. We're not being serious.
He's not like a basement monster.
I mean, I was told before back in high school that I was too nice. So
See, I was told I was too much of a bitch. So I mean,
I'm pretty sure I've been told like I
That was-
changed. I changed since high school, but I'm not nice anymore. And you know what? I actually didn't notice the difference. I just stopped caring. So
See, I was just. I
maybe
was
you just have to
mean.
change how you.
You were
are.
just mean?
I was just, Jamal.
Jamal.
People was like, hey, you get what you see, See what you get.
If you don't like it, walk away.
I'm an open book.
There you go.
You're either gonna read it or you're gonna put it back on the shelf. I just made that shit up.
Yeah, I think it just depends on the person on if you believe it or not. If you believe on the friend zone or if you don't. Like, our opinions are our opinions. We're not forcing them on you guys. This is just what we believe.
But we're trying to sway your opinion. Oh, psychologically, right there. You just,
I'm not.
Like I said, I'm half and half. Donna totally believes in it. Jeff
I don't.
just thinks that you're just toying with someone. Jamal, I think, believes in it, right?
I believe in it.
He believes in it. So we have...
We have mixed
50-50,
reviews.
2 who are like, yeah, and then...
One that's no.
Ah,
Yeah.
mixed feelings.
Mixed feelings all around. Pretty sure
Mixed
that's all you're gonna get about the friend zone.
And that's all a friend zone is ever gonna be is mixed feelings. I mean, it's such a sticky situation. There's no way to really handle the friend
It's
zone
human nature, pretty much.
Yeah.
if you're toying with someone or if you're just like we're just friends.
Poor people.
It's like, yeah.
All right. Well, I guess that's pretty much it for this episode of Taboo Topics. A pretty short episode. It's just a small debate. Join us next week when we'll have
A
what's
guest
his name again?
speaker.
Guest speaker, a fetish performer. His name is.
I don't have his last name, so I'm not gonna say his name. But yes, he will be on here next week
All right.
with details and everything. Don't know about tomorrow.
Oh yeah, we're having a special show tomorrow as well. There's a human sexuality festival or some kind of
It's like a day. It's called not human sexuality day. It's like called like sex day or something or
where like
Sex
our
day.
human
Sex
sexuality
day.
teacher here is putting on this
shout out to Susan
Shout-
Johnson.
this show. I guess we're not quite sure, but we're gonna be covering it tomorrow. So tune in tomorrow between 11 to 1. We're not quite sure which time we're gonna be going at, but
Sex day.
Why are you giving us a weird look? Like
We'll be covering it live.
the
event goes on.
speech, yeah, like when she has guest speakers, that should be live. If it's not live, it'll be up later. Happy?
Yeah.
okay.
There you go. If it's not live, we'll have it up, pre-recorded and edited. I'll say by tomorrow night.
Oh,
Okay.
and before you watch that, watch Spotlight News before you watch that tomorrow.
Spotlight News.
Me,
Spotlight.
Max, maybe Jeff. You know, it'll be a good show tomorrow.
Wait, are you doing Spotlight News on Friday though?
Well, we do it on.
They do it Thursday.
Oh, okay. Sorry,
Okay.
I was very confused.
Well,
All right. So
thanks for joining us.
thanks again for joining us. I'm your host,
Okay.
Jeff Lopez, joined today by our special guest, Jamal Bostick. Oh, before I leave, we're being told we're not done yet.
We're not done yet. Sorry, guys. Vote for AS
Vote for AS president.
For Jocelyn,
Zaragoza,
for our AS president, and then
your student. Or vote for BP Student Organization, Frida Lugo.
It'll be at the Student Center.
Jeff.
Oh, here it is. We got
Here's
it.
the flyer.
so we got that.
Okay,
as-
so yeah, this is AS. Vote.
Vote for Frida Lugo.
And vote
She
for,
really needs the votes.
and then vote for
Okay.
your student leaders.
And then here's our flyer on. It's called Love, Sexuality, and Diversity, put on by our human sexuality teachers.
Susan Johnson. It'll be by the bridge on the pond, I believe.
The bridge quad near the pond.
So in that general area that I just said.
If
At Cypress College, yes.
you want to come, you can.
There's free food and games.
We'll
Yeah.
sign, give you our autographs.
You could even ask to come and talk on our show.
We can interview you.
And I will give out autographs.
Jamal will give you his Instagram name.
So like we said, thank you for joining us this episode. Join us next week when we will have our special fetish performer guest. And we will be covering this event. You can find it later this week or early next weekend.
All right. Thank you.
I'm your host, Jeff Lopez, joined by our special guest today, Jamal Bostick, and my two lovely co-hosts, Donna Martinez and Victoria Cardenas. Until next week, thanks for joining us.
Bye. We're done?
We're done.
Hey, what the hell does Brian
Dude,
have to say?
no, I want to read all of Brian's comments. You could be Mila Kunis. Wait, what's your...
208.
Okay.
Don't read them out loud.
Because there are people that you just want as friends. And you know that they want more, but then you're like, I don't want any more. And they don't always tend to seem to understand that. I've had a lot of problems with that, where it's like, you've said we're just friends, and we've established that we're both just friends. And then in the end, they're still wanting more. And you're just like, well, what happened to just being friends?
Well, see, this can go into certain situations because then you have, or I'm not talking about you specifically, but you'll have the girl or the guy who'll say, oh, yeah, we're just friends. Let's stick to, we'll be platonic. Then when they hang out, certain people, when, the two people in question hang out, they're being...
Introduce Jeff.
I'm starting on me. Welcome to an all-new episode of Taboo Topics. I'm your host, Jeff Lopez, and I'm joined today by special guest Jamal Bostick and my two co-hosts, lovely co-hosts, Donna Martinez and Victoria Cardenas. So, Victoria, go ahead and start us off for this week's topic.
This week's topic is friend zone. Do you guys think it exists? Exists? That's not even a word. Does it exist? The signs of it, and if any of us have ever actually been friend zoned. So, I mean, apparently
It exists.
Or if you friend zone someone. So, I mean,
Friend zone has a lot of feelings for the person that's friend zoning them. I personally think it's pretty shitty. But you know, people do what they do for their own satisfaction. Hurting people's feelings. I mean, I guess.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say it's hurting people's
Coming
feelings.
from
But...
Donna over here.
Why?
Okay.
Tell
Well,
us why.
first I'll give definition. Well, we Googled it, and this is what Google came up with: a situation in which friendship exists between two people, one of whom has unreciprocated romantic or sexual interest in the other. I mean, for me, I personally like friend zone. Kind of needs to happen in a sense.
what's our special guest?
Well, I mean, sorry, to start off.
Welcome, Jamal.
How long has the term friend zone been around? Because I haven't really heard it blown up until recently.
I don't know.
Like past couple years. Before that, I don't think I've ever heard friend zone.
Really? I've heard it since high school.
Mm-hmm.
I've known about friend zone since like everyone's like, oh yeah, she totally friend zoned that guy. Like he totally wants her, but she doesn't want him, and she just says that we can just be friends, right?
It's like
I do that all
when
the time.
it comes to, hey, you're in the friend zone. Stop trying.
Stop trying.
Stop trying.
You ain't getting nowhere.
Well, I've been in the friend zone a couple times, but one of them was our playground in preschool. It's called the friend zone. Other than that, I've been friend zoned a couple times. She's actually sitting across the table from me right now. Other than that, I haven't really experienced friend zone like that. In case you count my last ex-girlfriend. How you doing? I mean, a couple of my friends have gotten friend zoned. It's been pretty bad. I guess it takes a really bad emotional toll on people, especially, you know, if the person getting